Hello everybody, welcome to another Rick's Picks. Today I'm going to be doing my review of the new Eternia figure, Terror Claw Skeletor. Now I've been loving a lot of the Skeletors that they've been using for this line. They all have a unique personality and they look really cool. So I can't wait to open this figure up and see what he's about. So with that being said, roll that intro. So here he is in packaging. I love the packaging for him. This is some really good artwork that they get into with him. So first off, let's lean this forward a little bit so you can see Mattel, age restriction, 30 points of articulation, and you also have the Masterverse. All right, put it back on the table here. As you can see, he has this window here where you can see the figure. Not so much his accessories, but the artwork I feel like makes up for it. So right here, you got Terror Claw Skeletor. All right, you got the front here, which you could see him fighting some snakes. That might even be King Hiss that he's fighting, which looks really cool. Masters of the Universe, New Eternia. And of course, this is some wraparound art. So it wraps around this way. You can see one of the towers from the Eternia playset, which is really nice. Oops. There we go. Now you can see the tower from the new Eternia playset that looks really cool. You can see Cobra Khan underneath of it, which is really neat. So I'm liking this artwork. And now you come around to this side here. Let's move them back just a hair. All right. You get this really cool picture of the figure. I like that. And then you get some of the play features for him, a little bit about him, and the other figures that are part of this lineup. Come around here. Get this really cool headshot. I like that with the glowing red eyes. That looks really neat. Then you get this profile picture that looks wicked with him with the one claw hand up and the other one down. So I'm loving this artwork. That's some really nice artwork. And back to the front. Underneath, you have your legal and SKU. So, with all that being said, let's open him up and see what he's about. So here he is out of packaging. Now, the first thing we're going to go through with him is his points of articulation. So the head does move. The jaw moves as well. So you can actually open up the jaw, which is pretty cool. I've been noticing that they've been doing that on a couple of these new Eternia Skeletors, to where he has the opening jaws, so I do like that a lot. You got, of course, your shoulder joint, your elbow joint, and your wrist joint. Get this up here. You got an upper body swivel underneath the ribs, as well as a swivel here at the hips. You got a thigh joint. Oh, a double knee. Should have a swivel here at the top of the boot. And you also have an ankle joint. All right, so everything seems to move pretty well on this figure. I don't have any issues with any of his joints moving. So now let's take a good look at the figure himself. So first off, let's talk about this head sculpt. Now I love this head sculpt. The head sculpt looks really nice, especially when you get into the face, so you can see the red eyes in the black background. So I like that a lot. I like that the factor that his helmet's not a full gloss. It's like a semi-gloss. All right. And then back around to this side. All right. And I like the design to the helmet too. So when we push his head down, you can see it's like a dragon head with a spinal pattern going, across it. Let's bring him forward just a little bit more so you can see it. So I do like that design a lot. It really works for me. Now also, let's start getting down into the lower part of his body. So I like his armor here. I like that they went more with a semi-gloss opposed to the original figure where it's a full gloss. The semi-gloss kind of works better for the armor. I like this techno skull with the hoses coming out of it. That looks really cool as well. And then you start getting into the lower section. The belt looks pretty cool with the armor piece here. And then the boots are also like a semi-gloss. So that's pretty neat. Bring them around to this side just to take a look at that. Come around to the back here. You got these two pegs here where the hoses are going to fit into that for the Terror Claws. You can see on the back of his arms that there's like wires and gears and stuff. Especially when you look at it from this side here. You can see all these like little wires and gadgets and stuff coming down his arm. So I like that. I like that little extra bit of detail. So overall, I'm liking the overall look to this figure. So now let's start getting into his accessories. So first off, he has a visor here. All right, so if you want him with the visor on, you can do that as well. He has the two hoses for the claws. So you got one here and the other one there. Now he has the claws, and the claws look wicked. I love the overall design to these. All right, so I like this like dragon head that looks like up there with the hoses coming out of its mouth. I think that looks cool. I like the whole design to the claws themselves. And they also have a wrist joint in here too. So that's pretty neat that you can actually move the hand. So I do like that. And of course, here's the other one. So I like the overall attention to detail to these things. I think they look really cool. So let's see how well all this works on him. Now the visor can be a little bit of a pain. He comes with it on. It took me a minute to take it off. But it should just slide right in. Okay. So it's actually easier to put on than to take off. I'm not sure how much of a fan of the visor I am. I kind of like them without it because I like the detail that they use for the skull and what have you. So I think like the visor takes that away. I could probably do without the visor. So now let's start getting these Terror Claws on. So his hands come off. Eventually. Ooh, that's pretty tight. All right, that one came off a little bit easier. These just hook into his back here. Just like that. There's one. Here's the, oops. The other one. All right. Do this hand first. That's supposed to pop in there. Just like that. Oops. Eventually. Oh, I guess while I have it off, let's pop that in there. All right, that feels like it's on. Let's do the other side here. All right. All right. This one's giving me a little bit of trouble. There it goes. All right, that popped in there. So, got the claws on. Took a little bit of work. Right. Now, as it looks like the claws make them a little bit front heavy. So I had to lean them back a little bit. So let's take an overall look at them with these things on. There we go. I love the overall look to this. This looks wicked and evil. All right. Got the hoses in the back and what have you. So that looks really, really neat. I love the overall look to them. I even love the factor that, like I showed you earlier, You do get some wrist action with him as well. So that looks really neat. I love the overall look to this figure. Okay, so let's get into my final thoughts with him. So first off, his joints move very well. No issues with him. His knees are a little bit tight. Made me a hair nervous, but other than that, they weren't that bad. I don't mind the knees. If you need to, you could probably add just a little bit of heat just to get them, moving a little bit better. But other than that, the joints worked well. His arms and his visor swap out pretty easily. No issues with any of that and so forth. So his overall look, I love the overall look to him. I think he looks great. He's a really neat looking figure. I like the overall look to him. I love how they did the terror claws with him, with the dragons designs on the ends here, the color, everything. I really do love the overall look to this figure. Now, the one thing I'm not a big fan with this figure is the visor. I'm not a fan of that. I could take it or leave it. More than likely, when I go to display him, I'm probably going to take the visor off because I just feel like it covers up too much of the detail in his face and skull design that looks really cool, that they put a lot of effort into, and it just covers it up. But that's just my personal opinion on that particular piece. So would I recommend him? Absolutely, I would recommend this figure. So far as I'm aware of, every single Skeletor that they did in this line, they just knocked it out of the park with them. I haven't seen a Skeletor yet that is part of this line that I didn't love. Not just liked, but loved. Because they're just all unique and they're really, really cool looking figures. So I would highly recommend this guy to go with the rest of your Masters of the Universe figures. So with that being said, I hope you guys did like this review. If you did, go ahead and check out my Masters of the Universe playlist and hit that like, share, and subscribe. They're all small clicks for you, but it really helps this channel grow. So, into the next one. Late.